Can you just walk us through the final, I guess, the final two possessions and just what it took to really grit this one out?
I don't know. We kind of stole one there. Um, Obviously, trying to get Asia the ball, um, trying to get certain people off Asia. Although tonight it didn't matter who guarded her, she was just on a heater. So a lot of it was get the ball to her and get out of the way and let her go be her. Obviously, Jack's putback was ridiculous. We've been harping, crashing the boards the whole time, and Jack was right on time with that one.
In some ways, did it feel a little bit kind of like deja vu on the sideline to watch it come down to a late game situation like that, but then watch your team kind of turn the result around?
I mean, I told him we can enjoy this win for tonight, but then tomorrow we got to get back to business and we got to be better. I thought their physicality bothered us. I thought offensively we got very stagnant. Um, but it's the play. I mean, everybody's going to be fully scouted. Like you have to play basketball and you have to make basketball plays down the stretch. It's about reading at this point because everybody knows the coverages. Everybody knows the next action for the team. Um, so we gotta. I'm gonna take a look at it. Obviously, see some areas where we can improve. But I mean, we kind of can't dwell on it too long. We got to move right on to Indiana, is what they're telling me.
You actually just referenced it twice. It is Indiana. Dropped two of the three games to them this year, but you haven't seen them since late July. What excites you about that matchup?
That they haven't seen the real aces yet. They caught us when we were at a bit in turmoil. Um, Not only that, they whooped us one of those stretches. So, um, you know what? We'll buckle in, hone in where we can, and take care of business. But I know everybody's super excited about tonight, which I am too. But like, I gotta get our hard hats on and get these guys prepped and ready for what's coming next.
That being said, Beck, as the final days of the regular season came down to it, those final three slots, didn't know who you were going to face. Arguably, you could say Seattle was going to be the toughest draw no matter what. What made them so tough, if you can just summarize this series?
Yeah, I mean, those they kind of swapped all the last day of the season. Everybody kind of swapped positions. Look, Seattle beat Minnesota twice. That's a very good team. They defend really well. They're long. They have a former MVP over there. They have Olympians over there. That's a very good team. So we knew it was going to be a dogfight. I thought maybe they might give Minnesota even a run, because they actually split with them during the regular season. That's like I said, it's a very good team. Um, and it's a team that like we've met so many times in the postseason, and every year they get tougher and tougher to beat.
Pre-game, you said that the win streak was nice, but it's out of the way. The loss is out of the way. It was kind of good to get that and move on. Even tonight, the way you won, how did your team, I know it's just over, but mature from this series to battle test you for the next one?
It's a group I trust down the stretch. To me, the game in Seattle where we let that lead slip away. Um, I'm not used to seeing that from this group. That actually surprised me. Us closing doesn't surprise me. This is a group that historically closes very well. They execute very well down the stretch. Uh, Funny. I mean, we win that game in the second quarter when we hold them to 7. That's how we won the game. Was the defensive end. 73 is our magic number. We're 11-1 now 12-1 when we hold teams to 73 or less. So that's always the goal. Wasn't great in the third, wasn't great in the fourth. We really struggled to get threes up, so I got to take a look at that. Um, but I mean, at one point, the play calling didn't matter. Asia Wilson just took over the game. didn't matter.
Coach, if I could ask you to elaborate a little more on that, tonight was tied her career playoff high with 38 points. Do you see her, as much as we see her in this incredibly high gear, go into an even higher gear in moments like this? And then if you could also just elaborate on Jackie Young's ability to be in the right place at the right time so much in her career.
Yeah, Jackie is a basketball player. She knows how to make plays. She knows how to move without the ball. She knows how to make things happen when it's not necessarily for her. Now we've put her with the ball frequently this year, and she's proved to deliver. But you can really put her anywhere, and she figures out ways to impact the game. But Asia, like you're not her gears and her calm under pressure is next level, and I think that's an elite skill set. Not only is it a skill set because she's been there in so many big moments, but it's also just her God-given nature to be calm in those moments and composed and know that she can deliver whenever she has to deliver.
In the room before we hop to Zoom.
All right, we'll go Nancy Armour on Zoom. Nancy?
Hey, Becky. Only one of the series, the 4 series, did not go to a game 3. And the ones that have, most of the games in game 2 and game 3 have been really, really close. And I'm just wondering, do you think it's time for the W to go to a best of 5 or even best of 7 for the first and second round of the playoffs?
I think you go best of 5 if you're not going to go back to the old format. The 2-1 format. I look at that Phoenix and New York travel situation. That's brutal for both the teams. To fly across the country like that for one game, one in, out, that's exhausting. So they ought to take a look at that. This setup, I prefer, a 5-game series.
Thanks, Nancy. Last one on Zoom, we'll go to Percy. Percy?
Hey, Coach, just how surprised were you that throughout this series, the Storm defended Asia with a one-on-one coverage and didn't throw sort of the junk defenses at her or anything like that, but just sort of decided to just play her straight up. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of defensive coverages for Asia, but were you surprised at that tactic?
I mean, I wasn't surprised because they haven't been doing that. She would have rung up 26, 27 the other night. She just happened to miss some free throws. I forget what she had game 1, like 28 or something. Anybody know what she had game 1? You can't cover her one-on-one. And they played her one-on-one, and that's one answer to why we couldn't get up threes, because they stayed locked up to our shooters. They stayed very connected to Jewel. But then, you let A go one-on-one. That's tough.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks for waiting, you guys.
Nneka, I'm not sure how many people outside of Seattle gave y'all a chance, but the effort y'all put, obviously, in game 2 and in this game tonight, not the result you wanted, but can you just maybe summarize and how proud you are, at least, of the effort and that y'all left it all on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, this is a back-to-back championship team, with one of the greatest players to ever play on the team, and we did not back down, starting from how we responded in game 1, obviously, bringing it back here. But we fought to the very end, and that was something that we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure that we gave ourselves a chance at every moment. I'm proud. I'm proud of our effort today. I'm proud of our effort to get us to this point, during the regular season as well.
Erica, this is for you. Can you just talk about everything you were able to bring to the team this year and what that's meant to you. I know it's tough tonight, but what it's meant to you this season and what I think you've meant to Seattle.
I think me just owning the adjustment from coming off the bench, starting, coming off the bench, and just being able to be whatever I need to be for the team on any given night. Like Nneka said, we fought hard. We gave them a battle. Nobody put us in this position to have this game this close because of the first game. And I think we responded well in the second game. So to be in this game, losing by one hurt, but I for sure think we put the world on notice that we wasn't a team to back down. This wasn't no walk in the park for them, and they know that.
Sorry, I know it's tough right now, but I wanted to ask about that final possession and just what you saw from the Aces defense and your team just trying to make that final bucket. What did that look like from your vantage point?
I'll take that shot every time. Every time. It just didn't go in and hit the back of the rim. But I'll take that shot every time, and I'll own that. I would love for it to go in, but I'll take that shot every time. We had two good open looks at the rim. That's the part of basketball. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, and today one of those days it just didn't go. I mean, that's really it. I'll take that shot every time.
Nneka, if I could just follow up on Michael's question, with everything that you've seen in your career, you're sitting next to someone who pours her emotions in. I remember in 2019 when she hoisted that MVP trophy, what she's meant and brought the best out of veterans like you and Sky.
Absolutely. She brings that enthusiasm to the game. I had the pleasure of actually being on that All-Star team and also playing in LA with her. So that passion, that's something that not a lot of people can bring. And she's someone that doesn't count herself out, when a lot of people do. And that's very hard to do in this league. People can identify you as one thing, and then that's kind of your reputation for the rest of your career. But she has reinvented herself year after year. She came here without the without being sure of what it would be. You know, there were other teams that wanted her. She came here with less in her contract because she believed in what we were assembling here, and I think that she's proven not just to the league, but I think to herself as well that she's a veteran to be respected. It's something that I've always respected about her, but I think that it's important for her to understand her true value, and I'm really proud of how E played this season.
All right, we'll take a few questions from Zoom. Percy, go ahead.
Hey there, this question for Erica. Hey, Erica, obviously it's probably impossible to know, but if this game was in Seattle, could you see a different result just with everything that you guys did on Tuesday and that crowd? These games were vastly similar, and just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
If this game is in Seattle, you asking?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir? Oh, okay. He said sir.
Sorry. Sorry.
I don't know. I think that we still would have came out with the effort we came out with. We do have a 6-man in Seattle with probably one of the best fans that I've ever played in front of. But I can't give you the answer to that because it wasn't that. We were in Vegas, so I really don't know. So yeah, just to answer your question.
Thanks, Percy. Bella, go ahead.
For you, Nneka, it looked on the broadcast like you were sort of the one leading the huddle and giving a message to your teammates at the final whistle. Just what was your message to your teammates after that result?
I mean, it's not oftentimes that I'm spirited, but I really just was telling the team, like, get out of yourself and get into the collective. These are the types of moments where you just got to let it roll off your back. And perhaps it might be, I guess, a little bit pretentious for me to say because that's just how I am. But I got out of myself to just communicate in that moment. We all had moments during the game where we just needed to kind of let go and keep it moving and be together and be where we were as a group. And so that was kind of my biggest message in that huddle.
Maz, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Erica, you played with Nneka in LA and you played with her here. Can you just talk to, she gets 2 points in the she gets 2 points in the first half and then 9 in the fourth quarter and ends with 16. I mean, what is it that you can say about her?
Well, I told Sky at halftime, I was like, Nneka only had 4 attempts. I don't care what Noe we're drawing up. We got to get Nneka the ball. She's one of our head of the snakes, and Scott took pride in that. But for me, what I don't know about Nneka is when we say president, it's really that. Like the work, first one in the gym, sometime last one in the gym is just very disciplined. Um, Someone that probably gonna be a Hall of Famer because of her work ethic and what you guys seeing every night. Just winning these games for us. I look up to her. I call her before I signed here because I heard a lot of things about Seattle. And for me, coming to Seattle wasn't about the money. I could have went somewhere and made money. Like I'm good with money. But I called Nneka and I said, Nneka, just give me the God honest truth of what's in Seattle. And the things she told me is what drew me to come to Seattle. So, and I knew I was playing with Nneka, who's going to give me that leadership that I need because my previous year had me a little less confident. But I knew being with Nneka would give me something that I haven't had, and she's been showing up for us all season. And she's gonna continue to show up for us off the court too as well. We got some things to get handled. But I'm Nneka is one of those one of a kind, those one of a one people that you don't come across. And when you come across her, you soak up everything that she has, her energy, the way she speak, the way she talk, the way she just hold herself accountable with everything is ain't like it. It's one of one for sure.
Last question will go Andrew Jones.
Thanks as always for you, Nneka, and that could have been a WNBA Finals with how well played that series was, and Noelle, Quinn, and the staff drawing up another clutch play for you all this season. Best shot for Ewell. You talk about Noelle's leadership throughout the season again, and do you feel that this is a team that clearly shows the title ambitions to run it back with this core whenever the next season happens?
I mean, obviously, it's a very premature question. I know that we had a very tight knit group when it came to the culture. So you're hoping that you see a lot of these pieces back together. You know, this is a league where anything can happen. I've been playing for a really long time. The reality is that this team is not going to be the same next year. No team is ever the same from year to year. But I do know that we have a lot of people that bought into what we were about this year. So I'm very grateful to have been a part of it. And we had some amazing words from our ownership, our ownership group today. And I still believe in this organization. And I know that I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Thanks, E. Thanks, Nneka.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As you were asked what was going through your mind after that win, and you said you couldn't say it on TV. I'm wondering if you've had some time to clean it up.
We were just talking about how it just still feels like we're on the court. I haven't even got time to really digest anything. But I will say I'm just very happy about how our team really just rallied together and did the little things. I remember Chelsea saying in the timeout, there's no time for my bads anymore. We have to play perfect basketball. And even though it was not perfect, we still had each other's back. And I think that's what was the perfection in my eyes. And so I think that just as I digest the game, I'm just really, really pleased at how we really just bought into each other.
Jackie, that final putback was obviously key to win the game. And Becky said post game that you are so good at like making plays, even when it's not meant for you. You can impact outside of maybe what's intended. And I'm wondering just how you were able to accomplish that and kind of what it means to hear that from your coach.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're going to A at the end of the game, and we have a lot of faith in her and a lot of confidence, and we think that every shot that she shoots is going in, But when it left, I saw that it was a little bit off to the right. I'm like, it's either going to bounce in or it's going to come off, and it came off just right, you know. And I didn't really think I had enough time to come down, obviously, because there was three. They were going to have that right back on me. And I just made a play. Just trying to make a right read, make an impact. You know, I didn't do much tonight, so just trying to make an impact in some way.
And then for both of you, everything the
Somebody's career hijacked.
right. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Something I'm seeing a lot of people talk about is the lights going off in the arena like so quickly. It was like the clock went to 0 and the lights were off and y'all were celebrating. I'm just wondering like if you can talk through what it feels like to go from like one moment to another, like 1 second you're in the game and then next it's lights are off celebration.
I mean, for me, as soon as I see that red square go light up, it's game. So nothing else matters at that point. We can kind of just deep breathe a little bit. But the lights going off, I don't really know about none of that. Yeah, it was cool.
We'll start with Jackie. Jack, we just talked. What about a week ago, pregame, and we talked a little about media day, and just everything you went through the off season to get to this point. How satisfying does it feel? Just not necessarily avenging anything, but just everything that you went through, the end of last season, the off season, to have that put back and sort of just a little bit of jubilation.
yeah, it took a lot to get back to feeling myself, you know. But shout out to Jerica, you know. We were in the gym every day, just trying to strengthen my knee, get it back. So I just felt comfortable, you know. I obviously wasn't myself at the end of last year, and then even in Unrivaled. But we put in a lot of work, and I told her we were going to hit it hard, and we did. So we spent a lot of time in the gym in the off season. But you know, just shout out to my teammates. They have a lot of confidence in me to just be there and make the right plays. And yeah, I mean, in that moment, I was just having to make a good play at the end.
And Asia, for you, when I had asked you, I think last week about Jackie, you had said, let's not make any mistake. We don't go in any runs. We don't win championships without Jackie. You're almost prophetic, if you will, in saying that after what took place tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna always stand on that, and I'm not just gonna say that because Jackie's sitting right next to me, but the little things that she does that doesn't show up in the stat sheet, her work ethic, the way that she approaches the game, you you want someone like that in your locker room, and I don't want us to ever feel like we're gonna let this slide or let her greatness slide. Everyone talks about me, hoop de doo, but let's not forget who Jackie Young is and why we drafted her and how she has evolved into this perfect two-way player in our league and the career that she's gonna have. And I'm grateful to be your teammate, girl, for real. Because, like I said, we don't do anything without Jackie Young, and it's gonna continue to be that way. And I think the league knows that.
Asia, post players are taught to have an internal clock, right? When they get the ball, looked like a vast switch up for you tonight. Is every time you got the ball in the post, it seemed like you went right to your move. Usually, it was the turnaround. Did you speed up that clock a little bit in this game?
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm playing against different people, especially with Seattle, they're a long team, they're a big team. So sometimes you can't analyze it because then you're gonna overanalyze it. And being a player on the other side, on the defensive side, I love when people analyze because it gives me time to really analyze what you're doing. So in this moment, I knew when it comes to just the type of post players that they have, I can't just analyze it because that gives time to collapse. It gives them time to double. So yeah, I did have to get a little pep into my step. But I also feel like it got us all kind of running and moving and playing at a pace that we needed to play at. And we didn't have that at Seattle. So I'm glad that we brought that.
And then Jack, things got kind of ugly in that second quarter on both ends. Um, and when it comes to postseason play, sometimes is it more scrap than skill that wins you games?
I mean, we know in the postseason it's going to be a dogfight. Everybody amps up their physicality a little bit. Um, and the refs let us play a little bit. So, I mean, we just have to kind of figure out how the refs are calling it and then go out there and kind of match that intensity.
Asia, I know you haven't had any time to think about this, but it's the Fever upset Atlanta tonight, and I know you know that team very well. Just maybe some of your initial thoughts about facing them. It's been a while since you guys have played them.
Yeah, our biggest one is just going to be containing the basketball without fouling. I mean, Kelsey Mitchell's having one heck of a year, and it's going to be hard to slow her down, but it's not going to be just Jackie. It's going to take all of us on the defensive end, and that's what we're going to have to really lock in on is just playing defense the right way and being on time and having layers to it. And I think that's what's going to be my initial thought, and I'm sure Becky would probably say the same. But when it all boils down to it, we really can't even focus on their X's and O's because we're going to know those. They're going to know ours. It's just going to come down to us playing our way and in the right way.
Jackie, just talk about your mental toughness of this game. We saw you kind of frustrated throughout some of the moments of the game. You went to the locker room for a change, came back. Just talk about how you stayed yourself mentally in it and didn't take yourself mentally out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game of runs, and highs and lows. So just trying to kind of find that middle ground, and when things aren't going my way, just trying to take a deep breath and compose myself and get back to who I am. I think that's the biggest thing. Not getting too frustrated, and then just playing through that contact, and kind of letting the game come to me.
Asia, might be remiss if we don't maybe ask you just post-series scout, if you will, on Seattle and what they brought with that veteran group, the 7 seed. I don't think anybody outside of Seattle, thought that they were going to do what they did in game 2 and push it to the end at game 3. Can you just summarize what that team, even gave you as a battle test?
I mean, they did their job. They got the win at home, and we didn't bring it. we didn't have it. We didn't, and it's crazy. We didn't have it, and we still just lost by 3. But we just didn't have it. But they did exactly what they needed to do. They amped their physicality. They made it tough for us, and that's what it's gonna be this postseason. You're getting away with a lot of other stuff because nobody wants to just listen through a whole game of whistles. So they're gonna see what they can get away with, and they took advantage of that. But I think it also kind of woke us up in a sense of like, this is this is how playoffs is going to be. We can't revert back to the aces. That was before All-Star break, and I think we saw that. They made us uncomfortable, but I think it was our turn to kind of do that because we made them uncomfortable game 1. It was just that's the way it is. So yeah, I think they did a good job, a solid job of just taking care of business at home, but we had to do the same.
Last question, Percy on Zoom. Percy?
All right, this question's for Asia. Hey, Asia, I'm sure you've seen every defense possible during your career, but during the series, you saw a steady diet of the one-on-one coverage. Just when you see that, what sort of goes through your mind? What do you think? And like, how surprised were you that they didn't kind of change things up just a little bit there?
Yeah, when it comes to one-on-one coverages, it's kind of rare for me, and sometimes I get kind of excited, and I get too excited, and I miss the shot, or I overanalyze it. But this game, I just took what the defense was giving me. They put a lot of different length on me to figure out to alter my shots or to make me pass or whatever. But one thing I kind of continue to work on is doing that. Oh, hey, mom and dad. Was doing that. Like I put the work in to make sure that I'm ready for any type of look. I put the work in to make sure that I can make the passes out of the double. So I'm pretty much trying to make sure that I'm locked in on any defensive coverages. And it's gonna be hard because it's always gonna look different and teams are gonna disguise it. But it just comes from putting in the work and getting just an understanding and getting to your spots.
All right, thank you, players.
Yeah, Coach Quinn, you were sort of saying beforehand that this could be a game that came down to just a few little plays. Did it feel like that's kind of what happened tonight? And overall, I guess, what are your thoughts about pushing the Aces basically to the brink?
Yeah, I'm super proud of my team. The growth that they showed, the resiliency to even get here and be in this moment. For them to, the Aces were the hottest team. Everybody was talking about how great they were, and they were playing extremely good basketball. For us to come and force a game 3 in an environment like this, when you're talking about the little details, we're just a defensive rebound away from getting a stop. Get a good look at it, to potentially have a game winner. And in order to be in a one possession game with the hottest team in the league, you have to focus in on the details of the game. You have to have heart. You have to have next play mentality. And I thought that the group did that. there's some tough shots made, some gritty, defensive possessions. To go from a 7-point second quarter to I'm always bad at math, 47 second half, again, showed, the growth of this team. And I'm super proud of pushing this thing, pushing Vegas to the brink.
No, I think as you walked by us off the court, I could be wrong, but I believe you had your collar in your mouth just kind of clenching. And I think that picture goes well with what Becky says. She said, we stole that one from them. We had to steal that. Did it feel like that at the end?
Yeah, I just wanted so bad for this group because they worked hard, and that's the competitor in me. I played so much basketball sometimes I wish I'm out there with them. And two, yeah, it's just the group. They're so committed to each other and what we wanted to do this year. We had a tough August, but it didn't show in September. The fight and the resiliency that they had is that was my emotion for them. I know how I've been in championship atmospheres and games. I've won 2 and just want this group to feel that. And the fight that they had, going to the huddles, again, the connectivity, the readiness. We weren't scared at all. Respect our opponent, but I thought that we had the desire, the passion, and all of those intangible things that you need to have in a game 3 like this. So it wasn't anything, I'm proud of the group, just wanting it so bad for them because they deserve it.
So much has been made about obviously Nneka or Sky and Dom, right, emerging. But I don't know if you remember 2019 All-Star game with Erica here. She talked about her mom and how emotional she was. When I did the story on you, she talked about how special that first conversation she had with you was. Can you talk about what she's brought to this team and what she's meant to you this season?
Yeah, he has had a career season. She's was forgot about for the past few seasons, in my opinion. And when I spoke with E in the off season, she wanted to have transparency and truth from her head coach, and I was committed to doing that the entire season. And in return, I told her I wanted her to get back to the 2019 E because she still has a lot of basketball in her. She's a capable scorer. She's an amazing defender. And the spirit of E is, what really one of the people that kept us connected because she's the same way. And whether it's good days or bad days, obviously we all have them, but the energy that she showed sometimes when she didn't have it, on and off the floor, mattered. And I think she was one of our best 3-point shooters all season. She had big moments today on both ends of the floor. And I think this was another testament to just who she is and just giving a player an opportunity to be exactly who they are, to be in a system that we have confidence and trust in her. Um, and I think the connectivity with me and E stemmed from that conversation, and I never wavered from that. I wanted to give her exactly what she needed, and that was truth and love. And that's how we flowed all year. And I just she did amazing all season through all the different roles, starting, coming off the bench, playing big minutes in the game 3. She was prepared and ready for this moment.
All right, we'll go to Zoom. Percy, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Congrats on a fantastic season. Hey, just wanted to ask. In a 1-point game, what can you point to that decided this outcome? And I guess I know it's kind of impossible to know with any type of certainty, but if this game was in Seattle, could you imagine a different result? Kind of especially with what you guys did in that close win on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we played better on the road all season, and I think that really prepared us for this moment. In this league, you have to win games on the road if you want to be successful. Seattle was
cracking, for lack of a better word, the other night, and the energy was electric, and I think that really gave us a boost. But today, I felt like the energy was really focused on the group. They provided energy for each other. I think, you know, we were again one possession of one rebound away, honestly, defensive rebound away from, you know, having an opportunity to, you know, walk away with this victory. I would have to look at the film to kind of pinpoint. We actually out rebounded them. We shot better from three. You know, there are a lot of things that we did well. I think maybe our turnovers and some timely ones within some possessions. But for the most part, thinking back on the game, it felt like just this heavyweight battle, possession by possession. We didn't get, you know, to this thing, 8 point, you know, differential, the biggest margin for the Aces. I think we fought back within that. So can't pinpoint one thing right now. But I think we did a lot of really good things in order to put ourselves in a position to even have an opportunity to win.
Last question will go Jeff Brown.
Yeah, coach. So the Aces have eliminated you guys now 3 times out of the last 4 years. I know it's obviously raw and difficult right now, but obviously this series was the closest of all. Can you just kind of talk about like the lessons learned from these playoff matchups that you've had with the Aces over the past few years?
Today in particular, again, I'm super proud. We were relying on very heavy minutes from a 19-year-old phenom in the rotation who has never been in this environment. You know, from previous seasons, our team was different, so it's kind of hard to kind of start comparing. But just talking about, you know, the performances from this group this year, just gutty. I think defensively we were able to match up better. I think, you know, even though we weren't a high 3-point shooting team, didn't take a lot. Thought that, you know, being efficient in these last couple of games really mattered. I thought that our execution down the stretch, we were poised. We knew what we were doing, and we're confident in that. And you know, being in those battles for years, Ezzy grew a lot in those battles. And today, I thought that her presence was great in a matchup like this. So I don't know about comparing, but I know this group fought super hard to be here. Nobody expected us to be in the game 3 with the Aces at all. Except for the Seattle Storm and everybody who was in that locker room. And because of that, we were able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that you guys thought. And again, yeah, the Aces are a great organization, an amazing team. And respectfully, I have to make sure I give Becky and her organization the kudos and the love that they need because they are the standard and they continue to be excellent every season. But shout out to my group to fight hard and to prove a lot of people wrong.
Thanks, Coach.